Welcome to the Coffee and Turner Syndrome podcast.
where we talk all about Turner syndrome.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Andrea.
Now let's hop
into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to Coffee and Turner Syndrome. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Brooke.
Hello.
And hello. And it has been really fun. These we're going on 4 weeks straight getting to have these chats
Yeah.
where there's no breaks. We've been able to it feels really good.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Yes.
and we have some exciting episodes coming up after this too.
Yes. So they will be coming out soon. So keep, tuning in, keep listening.
Yes.
So,
Fun interviews and some new topics. So,
yes. Yes. So stay tuned for those.
yes.
Uh, yeah, some exciting things coming along too. Um, so Brooke and I both have different things that we're working on, and
Yes.
um, we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But I'm excited because I'm going to start a podcast
Yeah.
under Brooks Media Company.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's going to be more of us.
Yes. There will be several hours of both of us to listen to.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm sad. I'm excited.
Yes. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. I feel
So
like, you know, those old fashioned radio shows that are now podcasts, I feel like this format that we do, it's really special in that it's so organic.
yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
conversations. And that
Yeah.
is, I feel like, a major part of what the Turner syndrome community benefits from. Just getting to
Yes.
talk through these things.
Yes.
So I'm excited for more of that to be out there.
Yes. It will be fun and we'll keep you posted.
Yes.
Gotta get, things organized, but it is coming soon. But the podcast is gonna be called I Can't Reach That.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of a play off of a couple different things. So one, I like to try and have a little bit of fun, bit of sense of humor about the fact that I'm short. Okay, I'm 4'7", and I'm constantly struggling because, especially, I'm out somewhere trying to reach things, and it's always a struggle. And and so there's that aspect of I honestly can't reach that. But and having some laughs, you got to laugh about it sometimes. And then also the idea of um sort of this, tell me I can't do something, I'm going to show you that I can.
Yeah.
Like watch me, go ahead and tell me I can't, and then watch me because I will show you that I can.
Yeah.
And growing up from early age, between like when my mom got diagnosed, I think I've shared this. She was told about all the different things I wouldn't be able to do because I have Turner syndrome. And um going through school, I was told by teachers and other people, too, oh, you can't do that, you're too short, or you're too small, or you're not going to be able to do that. And so it's sort of that concept, kind of trying to take that and turn it around a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a sarcasm a little bit. A snark I have a sassy, snarky kind of sense of humor a little bit. And so it's sort of a like flip the Uno card a little bit, like, okay, you want to tell me I can't do that, and you know, um, challenge accepted. I will try and show you that I can. So, that's sort of the idea of where the name came from. And so very excited to see, where this goes and it'll be fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea. One, I feel like bringing levity to the circumstances that surround Turner syndrome is so needed. Like, I have to catch myself in not even taking it too seriously, but just letting the weight of it sit too long before I kind of like, okay, I kind of shake it off and I'm like, but we're good. We're all good. I'm okay. And I can laugh about the fact that I have to constantly ask my husband to get me something from a top shelf. Or
Yep.
literally the other day, we were no, earlier today or the other day, we were looking at how we wanted to set up like a coffee mug shelf above our coffee bar area. And he totally trying to make sure I'd be okay was like, but are you going to be able to reach that? And I'm like, legitimate question. I don't know. Let me try.
Yep.
And that's that we can laugh at those things. Yes, there's the heavy things, but we can laugh at the things that aren't detrimental. And it's
Yeah.
okay. We have
Yeah.
to find the humor somewhere.
Right.
And
Right.
being short is one of those things that you kind of got to laugh through.
Yep. Yep.
And I do love the idea of the connection to like, oh, well, you tell me I can't and watch me. Okay,
Right.
I definitely am like that. Tell me I can't
Yep.
do something, I'm gonna figure out how.
Yep. Me too. That's how, I was raised. Like my mom, if, she ever heard me like saying, "Ah, but I can't do that," or "I don't know if I can do that," my mom would be like, "You need to try.
Yeah.
And, let's figure out a way or let's figure out a solution. You need to try." And so, um, there's times where yes, it gets incredibly frustrating and I just, kind of want to wave the white flag and be like, "Okay, I give up." Um, but, if I ever get pushed down, I don't stay down for long. And I will find a way to get back up and then just step back and be like, okay, I'm going to find a solution. I'm going to find a way around this. I'm going to figure this out. And so, I became very like independent in that regard because I'm like, oh, had to figure it out. So even when there's times where I'll have to start climbing and other people will start going, "What are you doing?" And I'm here just climbing and I'm like, "What? I'm used to this. I do it all the time now.
I had to
I
figure
do
out
what I gotta
something.
do." Yes. I'm like, I'm a skilled professional. I have been doing this for a long time.
Yes. I am a skilled professional at scaling these shelves or the counter.
Mm,
We're
yes.
fine. It's fine.
It's a fine.
It's okay.
Yeah. And they're looking like, "Don't hurt yourself." I'm like, "I got it." So, I'm like, sometimes you just gotta laugh and find the levity in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think part of that is like even in things like that, like something small like that, where it's like just dealing with the fact that you're short and have to get creative with how you try to reach things. It's another example of that little push that Turner syndrome gives you to be creative and persevere because you got to find some solution.
Right.
That was kind of math for me, kind of applying it to other things like school.
Mhm.
I survived through math on a wing and a prayer because I mean, even today, navigating homeschooling my kids and having to teach them math, I'm like, I've looked at Andrew several times and gone, I really don't want them to get my math problems. And right now, they know this better than me. So, like, we're okay right now. But I I switched to that's why I switched to a curriculum that wasn't so me heavy, where we actually found an online math class that is all the way up through like calculus or something.
Oh, okay.
So starts like preschool, kindergarten level, goes all the way up through any math you could need up till college. And it's this Australian college level math professor
Oh, wow.
teaching these lessons. And I'm like, what better circuit, like, who better to having a college level math professor teach you these things? And he's designed all of the curriculum for them. Like, I was so happy when we found it. And I'm like, this is great. I can just be assistant and, watch the lessons myself for a refresher. And I don't have to worry that I'm somehow misinterpreting things or messing things up in any way because they have a solid main math teacher. And I can just play assistant and it gives my brain a break because while they're at math levels that I could handle no problem right now, I feel like and this is why I feel like it's how my brain works, not even just I don't get it kind of thing is I can do the math, I can do the work, but the amount of effort it takes my brain to get to the same point is exhausting.
Yes. Yeah.
Like just the mental effort it takes me to interpret all of it and process it, I just don't do that. And so that alone is exhausting. And then to put having to then go and teach that, it's like I could be putting my brain powers towards reading, writing, history, science, the ones that I enjoy and am good at. I'd rather put those towards those things.
Yes.
So you just learn to live with it and get creative and find that humor and persevere through it. Find a solution, whatever that may be. I pushed through the math classes I needed, and then I threw a party and praised God that I didn't ever have to take another math class again in my life.
Yes. Yes. And I managed to too. I mean, not easily. I mean, it was some long, long nights trying to get through some math lessons. But part of it too, and how my brain works is like if I was looking at like all the math questions, I was thinking about them all kind of at one time and all the ones that I had to get through and how many I'd have to do and things like that. And it was just uh, it got overwhelming, and when
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed, it's sort of like my brain and everything just shut down, and I couldn't think, and I'm just like, I can't do this." And
Yeah.
so, my mom literally forced me to be like, "Don't think about that other stuff, try and get your mind away from that and just think about one at a time." And, I started to have to do that, and that's sort of like too, anytime I feel, like, overwhelmed over, like, stuff that I'm trying to get done or I have to kind of, like, step back and think, "Okay, let me just take one thing at a time. I'll make my list. Let me just take one thing at a time." Maybe prioritize what needs to happen first and then just start checking it off. And in my mind, that kind of like eases the um stress about it or the anxiety about it. But you just kind of figure out things that work. Um and just find a way to push through and persevere. But yeah, I started to make much better grades in math doing that
Yeah.
um than prior to when I started um sort of that process. But that kind of helped me and worked for me. Thankfully also my brother was really good at math, and I have to ask my younger brother sometimes to to kind of help me out a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, you find a way and get through. Um, but yeah, ironically, I then became a pharmacy technician, and now I gotta do medication formulas. So,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
mm,
The level of anxiety that would give me.
yeah.
And
And that, like, because we would ship, people's medications and stuff like that, and
mhm,
or they would have, it's a special type of therapy with immunoglobulins, um, and so it helps people with autoimmune conditions,
yeah.
and it's IVIG, and so, like, if you're not doing the correct dosage, there's that's a problem. So,
Yeah.
very important that the math is mathing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a I'm like, how did I get that? What?
Well, and see, sometimes it can be as simple as the language of it because algebra honestly was not, especially after in algebra 1, freshman year of high school, I had the best math teacher I ever had while I was in school. And I think having that year of just solid, not just solid teaching, because it wasn't that my other teachers weren't good teachers. It was they just didn't speak my language when it came to that. They didn't teach it in a way that really worked with me, and he did. Literally the one and only math class I ever got an A in. Literally the only. I mean, I would come home from school as early as 2nd grade with like a D on a math test. And my mom would kind of look at me like, "Oh, honey, was this one a struggle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't understand." And she's like, "Okay, let's look at it. Let's make sure you have extra help." And she was always amazing at like checking when she saw me stressed over it. She would be like, "Are you going and getting the extra help that I told like you're supposed to do that if you're struggling." I'm like, "I know." But it just felt like so much work. And so it was frustrating. And as soon as I got lower, it would just be so discouraging because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to get through this." And then I would finally get it. And that level of just having to not give up, there's something in that that is so impactful just for the way you see things because like you start seeing more things you're like, "Well, but I made it through that. I can do it. I can make it through this."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I never saw myself getting an A. I brought that home and my mom goes, "Whoa, can he teach the rest of the math classes you need?" Because it just the teaching style just matched perfectly and really worked.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference too. Um, Thankfully, yeah, I think, um, especially, yeah, when I took Algebra 1 my freshman year, um, I had a few, even in elementary, I had a few, um, I had one that was really good at helping me with some geometry. I kind of struggled with geometry sort of the most. Um, but it was that whole spatial concepts kind of thing that it
Yeah.
was yeah, it was very much struggle. But my algebra teacher was great. And so I mean I did struggle a little bit, but um, when he worked with me some one-on-one to help kind of break down um, what I was supposed to be doing, then it helped and it started to click. And once it clicked, then it was just so much better. And I honestly, after that point, I liked algebra,
Yeah.
because it started to make a little bit more sense to me, and I was getting um, B's and A's, more A's, but B's and A's as opposed to getting C's and D's. Because there's a few times I got some D's too, but I was usually a fairly solid C math student. Um, but yeah, that helped a lot, and so algebra became one of my stronger subjects, surprisingly. That shocked me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he was just a really good teacher, and just something about when he kind of worked with me to break it down and explain it to me, then I kind of got to see more what I should be doing, where I was missing, and it wasn't clicking, And when that did, made all the difference. And so
Yeah.
that helped so much more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, even just that one instance of having that one class where it not only gave me the foundations of like, okay, I understand this better than I did before, so I feel like I have a stronger foundation to grow from, but also just an actual confidence boosting experience in math where it was like, wait, I did it.
Mhm.
That having that confidence made a huge difference for me also. I did then struggle in geometry. Geometry, I think I got the lowest grade ever the first time, and I had to retake it. In my defense, it was a very early morning class, very early, and my teacher the first time just stood up there clicking a remote for a PowerPoint and talking,
I understand.
and that did not work for me.
I think I would have been in the D category as well in that class.
That
So,
that was bad.
I I would be in company with you on that. Yes, I would not be able to learn that way. That
It
would be
was
very difficult.
Yeah, it was like the perfect storm of this just was never going to work. And the
Yeah.
second time I took it, I did much better. It's still not my favorite. It's still I think some of that probably goes into I think what I've noticed about myself with the NVLD like more abstract. There's just certain concepts that I can't have be abstract. There are ones that I can and I get it, and there are other concepts that I'm like, no, I need to more physically, visually, concretely see this to get it. Give me a
Yeah.
visual and I can understand this, but just verbally telling me and the abstractness, it's not working. Which is funny
Yeah.
because I'm a words person otherwise. Geometric things are not one of those things that work for me though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was probably one of my least favorite things
Yeah.
was geometry. That I just really did struggle with that for that exact reason. There was just something that was very difficult to get, and it was like I was sitting through a foreign language class, and
Yes.
I was not understanding.
Nope. I have always said for me, math is basically a foreign language for as much as I
Mhm.
understand about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and the people that love math call it a language. Not one I'm anywhere near fluent in.
Right.
Barely beginner level, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
Fair.
curious. I'm curious, what would you say is the biggest thing that you've been told you can't reach, if we're using that phrase, that you were
Uh-huh.
like, oh, watch me, and you did it?
So, I think I've told the story, but it's kind of funny, but it is kind of kind of important, kind of serious at the same time. But I told the story my freshman year. So I went to when my freshman year of college, I went to a Catholic school called Benedictine, and um, I wound up having a roommate and her friend steal from me a significant amount, almost $3,000
Oh my gosh.
of money that I had from family um, that I got from graduation. So that whole situation. So when I graduated high school, I graduated top third of my class, and I um, graduated with like I think about a 3.4 GPA, and I worked really really hard to get that.
Mhm.
So that in itself was, I was really proud of.
Yeah.
And I go into my first semester, my freshman year, and I start off doing really well. Like I'm making 3 point something. I think it was 3.2, 3.3. So I'm doing fairly good so far in my first semester. Well, towards the end of that first semester is when I found out about my roommates. That whole situation exploded,
Mm.
and I had to get a new roommate, get a new room. Um, and they got expelled, or they were suspended and then got expelled. They got suspended during the whole like investigation about everything that happened.
Yeah.
And um and then I had to move. It actually also, because of how much they stole, I had a check clearing for a speeding ticket, um, and that ticket bounced, and unbeknownst to me, because I thought it had cleared, but it was clearing as the money was taken out of my account. So it wound up not being fully cleared by my bank, and it bounced. And so they wound up putting out a warrant.
Oh, no.
Um, yeah. So I had all of this going on. Well, and dealing with all these situations and everything, um, it kind of uh put me in a very survival mode, fight or flight.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to get through everything. So my grades significantly dropped.
Yeah.
And my GPA went from 3.2, 3.3, all the way down to like a 2.0,
Mhm.
because I lost kind of a whole lot in trying to deal with everything.
Yeah.
And in the course of everything that I went through, my mom wanted to come and have some conversations because the school was not being fully supportive.
Mm.
Um, they were doing what they had to do because of the situation, but they were also not supportive of me or very understanding to what I was dealing with. And they were um, not really kind about my grades dropping like that. And so my mom went to the school to try and have a conversation. Well, they have nuns that live on campus,
Okay.
and that nun that my mom wound up talking to, told my mother that I maybe don't belong in college, that she didn't think I had what it took to make it through college, and that I maybe don't belong in college. My mom told her she could go to hell. Mother Bear came out, and
Oh,
you don't tell her that her daughter can't do something. So my mom told me this, and I'm like, oh, is that what they think? Okay. So I worked really hard, and knew I needed to do this anyway, but I worked really hard to get my grades back up. Now, I did wind up, because of how they were, I did eventually wind up transferring and finishing, like the latter part of my college, at Emporia State instead of Benedictine, because they're they were not a very good college. But I did start working on getting my grades up. So it was a very difficult climb. It
oh, yeah.
was it didn't take much to get my grades to drop like that, but it took a lot for my averages to start coming back up.
Yeah.
Now, um, by the time I graduated college, I did choose to switch majors at sort of almost the last kind of right going in my senior year.
Mhm.
Um, but I I was interested in forensic psychology and sociology and stuff, and so I went in. I initially declared as like a sociology major, and I switched it to a psychology,
Mm.
and so that kind of threw a little bit off my path. But I Emporia had a better psychology program, so that was also a reason in my factor for transferring when I wound up transferring, is because they had a much better, psychology program than, Benedictine did. But I was ready to kinda get away from that, but,
Yeah.
um, I by the time it was said and done, um, I was able to graduate with, like, a 3.0, but it took me a little bit to be able to get it back there.
Yeah.
But considering all of that, that was, like, I was really happy about that.
Yeah, 3.0 is
So
not bad
no,
at
it's
all.
not.
That is
It's
work.
not. But yeah, it was it was a lot of work, but I was determined to just kind of regain the focus and not let everything that happened just, drag down
Yeah.
the rest of my um time in college. And fortunately too, when I went to college, when I transferred to Emporia, I met some really good friends, and it became, eventually, and I lived off campus. I had some good roommates, and it became a much better situation where I felt like I could also kind of thrive again and be more myself again and kind of start fresh. But it was, yeah, it took some work to get to get to get
Yeah.
the grades back. But yeah, I was that was probably I've had a few, but that was probably definitely a big hurdle.
That would feel
Getting through that.
huge to have the person at the school go, "We just don't think you're made for this." That would
Yeah.
definitely be a scenario where I'd be like, "Oh, bet. Watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Watch."
exactly. They're like, "Oh,
Um,
really? Okay. Well,
and
I'm
then you
not
wanna
gonna
stay
listen to
there
you."
long enough to get it up and have her have to see it and be
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
what was that again?"
Yeah. And it was coming up, and by the time I left, it wasn't quite at the 3.0 yet, but it was like a 2.6, 2.7 from the
So, massive
2.0.
improvement still.
So, um I kind of wanted to have my Julia Roberts moment and walk into that nun and be like, big mistake, huge.
Huge. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's oh, man. Because I think with how with how little we are too. I have had several times in my adult life where the other adults around me that, in all fairness, are the generation above me that are not the same age as me, are a couple decades older than me, have still seen me as a little kid, even though I'm 35 years old. And that has given me a lot of moments where I'm like, you're just not going to, no matter what I do, you're not going to give me the credit for what's actually happening. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think, well, for me, thankfully it's always turned into fuel. Like I'm going to do what I need to do in whatever that particular situation is, and I'm just going to use it as fuel for like I'm just going to stay focused. I know
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
the best thing
capable
that we
of.
can do.
I know what I'm capable of. So I'm just
Mhm.
going to do what I know I'm capable of.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna do that, you can sit back and watch, and then you'll
You'll
find
see.
out that you were wrong.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah.
And I think it can be hard because you so want that validation of like them acknowledging it. But in some ways, I've had to teach myself to just be proud of what I've done and
Yeah.
that be enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, big moments of it, well, one of the biggest happened before I was even born because the doctors told my mom I was never gonna walk, talk, be able to feed myself, none of that. If I survived, I was just gonna be a vegetable. Well,
Mhm.
not only did I defy their odds with surviving, I walk. In fact, I danced for years pretty well, if I do say so myself. I definitely can talk. We all know that. I'm ve- we all know I'm very capable of talking. And let's just say I love food.
Mhm.
So no issues in that department either. None at all. Healthy food habits is a
Yeah.
different discussion. I think that, and I think my mom kind of had the same way, and she mostly dealt with it while she was pregnant with me.
Mhm.
And then that, I think, triggered her to, as mama bear after I was born, be like, well, I'm never going to put her in a situation where somebody can tell her she can't do something, or that she's different, or make me feel bad or incapable because of anything. And I think in some ways that kind of protected my brain of like, well, I'm just, if I can do it, I can do it. If I can't, I can't. I know my strengths,
Mhm.
I know my weaknesses. And honestly, I think Turner syndrome has probably helped me learn those even better. I mean, I love psychology too. In fact, we
Mhm.
could have had a lot of fun taking forensic psychology classes together.
Mhm.
But I also, going through everything with Turner syndrome, have had to learn myself really well, and know like what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. I know that so well that I'm able to say, yeah, that's not going to be a me thing, or yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I feel like I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big benefit. I mean, knowing that is very valuable when you're talking about
Yeah.
looking at jobs, and I mean, I know there are a lot of girls that talk about doing the work to, find a job, be living independently, and those are really valuable tools for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually so, um, I will try not to say her say her name specifically because I'm not trying to, um, like, throw her under the bus or anything, but I think it was an interesting conversation and kind of an interesting point. I have one of my friends here, um, she has Turner syndrome, but I don't think she was fortunate enough to have the same experience where she also had parents that kind of helped give her the tools to push her to be a little bit more independent and figure out ways to work through things.
Hmm.
Um, but I have had struggles when it comes to work. I have had those situations. And unfortunately she has had some situations too in her jobs. And right now she's concerned about whether or not she's gonna be able to keep this particular job or not.
Hmm.
Because she's had a couple other jobs recently that where she's struggled. And a lot of it is sort of within the executive functioning um realm. And um, one of the things that came up was, you know, um, I think she said something to the effect of, um, you know, I make mistakes, or I'm slower, and just basically it's just you're gonna have to kind of work within that. Um, and to a point, like, the executive functioning sometimes that is, I mean, there's real struggles there.
Yeah.
And, I have challenges with work when it comes to multitasking. And I think, but I just I've never been one to try and um kind of lean on having Turner syndrome as reason to be like, well, I can't do that, or
Yeah.
um you know there are limitations. There are things that, I can say realistically, like, no, that's just not realistic. But most things I am willing to try and do the best that I can.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to my work, there are some situations in which I made an error. And I have to make a note that, okay, I need to make sure I'm double checking that I'm doing this part because I've missed some of that. and not catching it. So, and it's like self-auditing my work and making sure I'm not making mistakes when it comes to unemployment appointments that I'm having. Um, and I'm not trying to be like, well, I just can't do it, or I have TS, so you're just gonna have to understand. No, I have to figure out, this is my job. I have to figure out how I can work within that. Like, okay, obviously I'm missing something here. I made a couple of mistakes and I didn't catch this. So I need to make a note or some kind of reminder that works for me, or do something that works for me, that I'm taking the time to make sure that I'm completing that, because everything else I'm doing is fine.
Yeah.
But I've seen that in me. And so now I have a mental note going, oh, well, I should be doing this. I need to make sure I'm doing this. So I need to take some time to make sure I slow down enough that I check. And however it helps to remind me, and I was having that conversation with her. I'm like, you might want to have a visual or something that reminds you, like, you need to remember to do this. You need to, like, you know, figure out what the solution is to help kind of work around the problem. And I can't just be like, oh, it is what it is, so we're gonna have
Yeah.
to deal with it. Unfortunately, I don't have that option if I want to stay employed. Um, but those are things that I can look and say, yeah, okay. Um, if I'm going too fast, or if, I'm multitasking, sometimes I do miss certain things. So I need to make sure, okay, I take the time to catch, because I now identified the issue, and now I need to do something to remind myself that I need to catch that so I can start. And then for me, after a little while, that will become just like, that will become more ingrained, and that'll become second nature, and I'll just start doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, those are things that, um, kind of I mean, like, when it comes to executive function or whatever, have to deal with. And, um, it's just me. But I mean, my my supervisor, if I went to her and be like, I'm sorry I made that mistake, but you're gonna kind of have to accept that, because I have problems multitasking. I mean,
Yeah.
I can talk to her and let her know, like, hey, this is a real issue, but I can maybe do it this way. If you can find a way to meet me on doing this, it might mean I might do it slower. But if I'm doing my checklist this way, I'm going to be more accurate. Or if I take a little bit more time, I'm going to be more accurate.
Yeah.
Um, and find some solution.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between a struggle where it really is, like, for me in math, I know there's a hard line boundary there of, like, I have to be really, especially because I work in scenarios where I'll cashier,
Hmm.
and that is anxiety inducing for me because that's people's money I'm messing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a really stressful thing to try to not get wrong with something that I can't control how well my brain processes it. But I can do things to keep that either within my boundaries, where I'm realistic about what I can try to do with that, or give myself the tools to not have that be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm at least trying. Whereas things like, if I said, well, I'm just not good at math, so I'm just
Yeah.
not going to even try.
Yeah.
I'm kind of discounting the level of math I am able to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's part of why I've kind of always made the, like, Turner syndrome is not your identity. It's
Right.
it's impacted who you are because you can't go through the things it puts you with without being impacted.
Right.
I'm definitely a different person than I would have been if I didn't have Turner syndrome. I think that's probably fair to say about all of us.
Right. Yeah.
But it does not define what I'm capable of. It
Right.
defines one specific part of me physically
Right.
that then I get to choose how all of that manifests, how I respond to it.
Mhm.
Because you have options in how you express things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sentiment of, oh well, I have Turner syndrome, so I can't. That's kind of that's letting it define you.
Yeah.
That's letting it decide what you aren't and are able to do and kind of dictating what your life looks like. And one, there's only so much of the world that that's going to function within that are going to actually allow you to do that, where it's like, okay, that's kind of tough luck then,
Yeah.
that are actually going to respond in a way that's accommodating in that way.
Yeah.
That's just not how the world functions. And so, yes, there's things you can do for accommodations, but you also have to be realistic and think like, I do need to do this work myself too, and kind
Yeah.
of at least, yeah, give my best effort, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's how you reach the things that you're told you can't.
Right. Yeah. And, I guess I kind of look at it this way. I mean, it's sort of, I guess, sort of the thought process that, I grew up with. You know, we're in a world that's not going to bend itself to us. It's not
Yeah.
going to bend itself to you or I. It's not a world that's made to kind of be centered around women with TS. It's not going to bend to me. So I have to figure out how I'm going to fit in a world that wasn't quite made for me
Yeah.
and some of the things, but there's always a way.
Yeah.
And, you know, instead of just be like, oh, I'm not going to do that because I can't. I mean, the world's not going to do it for you. So I have to find the way to navigate myself and adapt myself into the world that I am. And, and, and I can't expect it to just, and I think that's the difference in mindset because I feel like she has that expectation that the world should kind of mold itself to her and her needs, and that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And we have to be, yes, absolutely, have to be realistic about what we can and cannot do and be, have limitations. Because there are, but there's a lot of times too where like I realize I put the limitations on myself
Mhm.
and can do far more than what I've, thought. And like that started with math. That was one of the things I learned. Like, I kind of had this block and, sometimes I have to figure out, and there's times where I come with that, like, oh, I want to do this. And I feel like I'm not going to be able to accomplish that thing. And I kind of then put that block on and it's like, well, I'm only just limiting myself. But, no, I kind of have to find my way to navigate and adapt myself to the world that I have to function in.
Yeah.
And, you're going to come up against some challenges sometimes, some days, but, um, and yes, at work or wherever, but I mean, it's not going to change. It's not going to change for me.
Yeah.
I have to figure out the way to make it work.
Yeah. And that's not to say that's easy.
No, no.
That doesn't mean that finding those accommodations or finding those solutions are easy, but they are possible.
Yeah,
And that I think is the the difference in mindset that can be a huge benefit is like you're not limiting yourself, you're giving yourself the room to see what your limits actually are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if I spent forever avoiding doing math because it gives me anxiety, I would completely just put all of the weight of running the cashier or the cash register onto my coworkers, and they would probably be so annoyed. All because I was trying to avoid math anxiety.
Yeah.
How would I
Yeah.
even function in paying for things? There's some things where you just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not impossible. And you
No.
have to give yourself the room to try
Yeah.
and see what actually happens and be okay if you make mistakes,
Yeah.
because it is okay. And there are real
Yeah.
limitations, but there's also something very invaluable in being on the other side of that, having accomplished that
Yeah.
and pushed through that when you started out thinking you couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that that I think is something a lot of Turner syndrome women learn, because things don't happen easily for us.
No.
And it's kind of
No.
like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks that there's that struggle. It sucks that these are difficulties, but that's reality.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
trying to avoid that isn't going to change that that's reality.
Right.
I can't take any of that away. I have to learn how to function in what reality is.
Yeah.
This is the cards I've been dealt, whether it's fun or I like it or I want the cards I've been dealt.
Yeah.
So I need to just see what I can do with the cards that I've been dealt.
Yeah.
It's kind of like answering the "Do you like having Turner syndrome?" question. I I don't even, I mean, we talked about that. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to answer that, but would I choose it? Of course not. But
Yeah.
this is the reality. So I'm working with what I'm working with, and that's all I've got to work with. So I've got
Yeah.
to do what I can with what I have. And all that mental limitation does is make that world that much smaller, instead of like, well, let me see. And it gives you
Yeah.
possibilities.
Well, you know, one thing that I try and remind myself, and I think that just being born and having Turner syndrome, you already, did almost the impossible
Yes.
because not many survive. So I think, when you kind of remember that fact, then, you know, I think to myself, well, why would I want to put more limitations on me? Because look what I can do. I was born with something that most don't survive.
Yeah.
And I'm here. I have a reason, I have a purpose. So why am I going to, you know, instead of allowing that to dictate what I can't do, how about I give myself the room and space to say, what can I do?
Yeah.
What can, and find out and not, just put those limits on there and see what you can do, see what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And find, I mean, yes, we're all going to realistically have things, but like I said, a lot of times we put those on ourselves because we think, oh, well, that doesn't seem like something I would be capable of doing.
Yeah.
But, if you give yourself a chance, might surprise yourself.
Yeah. And what's really funny is we can be our own worst critics. I am
Hmm.
so much harder on myself than like anyone else is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so much harder on myself than anyone else is. But my favorite thing is when somewhere on social media, whether it's in one of the Turner syndrome groups or somebody's post about Turner syndrome that I'll see or something, it'll be a parent just getting a diagnosis and asking like, what is my daughter's life going to look like?" And then you read the comments and see all of these butterflies going, "Well, I got a bachelor's degree. I got a master's degree. I'm working in
Mhm,
this high field. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I've been married for 30 years. I've been, like living incredible full lives, having
mhm.
accomplished a lot."
Yeah,
And it's like we discount ourselves so much, but look at everything we do.
yeah, yeah. That's very, very true.
That's one of my favorite things when I see it, because it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
see, it's incredible. And we're
Yeah.
doing that with the odds stacked against us.
Mhm. But I when I've had conversations and I'm like, yeah, odds are usually stacked against me, but I like it like that because I like a challenge. Because again, it's that whole concept of like I can, prove you wrong.
Yeah.
So, you know, um I'm like, okay, if I go in this with the odds stacked against me, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I think we're starting life out that way with a lot of things with Turner syndrome, and
Mhm.
so it's like you're almost used to it. Like if things were too easy, it would almost feel weird,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like nothing ever seems to come easy. So wait, that was too easy.
Mhm.
What's wrong?
You're like, "What's this?"
Yeah. What else is going to happen, cuz that was far too easy.
Yeah. Like, "Oh, that was surprisingly easy."
Yeah. That's a little scary. Hmm.
A little scary. I'm not used to that.
Yeah. So, and I
Yeah.
mean, you could complain about it, but I'm not going to say it hasn't made us stronger.
Yes. Yes.
So,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. I love that idea, and I think just living with Turner syndrome is an embodiment of it, and so it's just a part
Exactly.
of our lives. The idea
Yeah.
of persevering through things. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like that imagery of a butterfly is just so perfect.
Yeah, it fits. It really fits because, um, you know, I did not, for a while, honestly, realize just, how, um, I guess, what do I say? Well, it's painful, but just intricate and uh, all of that the process is for a caterpillar to become a butterfly, all that they
Yeah.
go through in that process.
Oh yeah.
And it's not easy, and the transformation is not easy.
No.
Um, but what comes out of that, that's the beautiful thing. So, while it's one of those things that, yeah, there's days where I'm like, I did not sign up for this.
Yeah.
And, I have questions. If I ever got to heaven, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
you know, like that day, like, why? But no, I'm like, yeah, I don't remember volunteering for that assignment, but
Yeah.
however, here we are.
Yeah.
So, um, there's a meme that I think is kind of funny, but it's like kind of true. Where somebody's like, God always picks his strongest soldiers, and it's just like, when did I sign up for the war? When,
Yeah.
uh, um, and yes, that's a legitimate question, but you know. I do think that there's a reason for everything. And I mean, I have two congenital, you know, or two growth disorders, or two genetic disorders, um, heart conditions, and I survived a heart attack. Um, so, you know, um, also likes to talk. So I'm definitely here to got a few things to say. So um, I'm like, okay, well, it's not the assignment I signed up for, but here we are. I guess I'm the person for the job.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, we find the way. So yes. Yeah.
And I think having that reminder is always helpful.
Yeah.
Having a
Yeah.
little bit of a pep talk around that.
Yeah. Just a reminder that, like, yeah, we don't give ourselves enough credit and that we're stronger than we think. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
So, as an ending note, you had a funny story you wanted to share that I
Oh,
thought would put a lighter ending on. I mean, not that this has been heavy. I think it's mostly been a pep talk, but
yeah. A little bit of a pep talk.
I thought it would be a fun ending because I know you wanted to share it. I thought that would be a fun ending.
Yes. So, occasionally, I like to share, just fun stories, out in the wild of what it's like to be short. And I have one of these stories of, being out in the wild and being short. Um, so, uh, it was, last weekend on a Saturday, and, so part-time or as I need, I, do, DoorDash, or I will deliver Uber Eats, and so it's kind of a side gig. So I was working, and I was going to a store called Save a Lots. And I was in the store, and oddly enough, I first started talking to the cashier because I needed to try and get some help, because uh, I was getting some food out of their freezer, and they have one of these freezers where you have to kind of, well, at my height, you have to dive in. I would have had to like jump over this freezer and dive in to grab the food.
Oh
It
gosh.
wasn't what I needed, wasn't on the wall freezers, and so and it was way down in there. And so it was one of those, I literally just can't quite reach that. And I was like, so I went up and I'm like, I need some help trying to get an item. And she realized, she was like, started talking to me about, how short are you? And she herself is like 4'9", and I'm about 4'7". And so, she started asking me, she was like, "How tall are you?" She's like, "I don't get to meet people that are shorter than me every day," because she's 4'9", so she very rarely gets that chance.
Yeah.
Um, so she just started to get so, like, tickled about the fact that I was shorter than her. And so she just, like, when I was walking by and stuff a couple of times as I was getting stuff, she was like, "I just can't believe it. I can't believe I met somebody shorter than me." And then her boyfriend or husband came steps in, and he was dropping off some food for her for lunch, and she had to stop me, and she's like, "Hey, look." She's like, I gotta meet her, and she's shorter than me, so she had to, like, introduce me to her boyfriend, and it's like, "See, there's somebody shorter than me."
Oh gosh.
And so, I finished shopping and, I finished checking out, and before, I left, she was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And, uh, this picture is cute, and I don't know if
It
we're,
is a
like,
good
have the
picture.
ability to share it, but we might be able to share it. So you can
If
see
you
this
want, I can
picture.
pop it up on the screen.
Yeah, but it's really cute, it's a fun picture, but, yeah, I was like, I did not realize that I was a celebrity, but yeah, she was really nice, um, but it was so funny, I never met, like, somebody that enthusiastic. I was like, "Well, I aim to please. I'm"
Like, excited about how short you are rather than just trying to, like, get
Yeah.
through the wheel spinning in their head of, like, "Oh, you're really short," because that's what I feel like I get all the time.
Yeah,
Just the
yeah.
wheels spinning in the head.
Yes, yes. So a little different, but I was like, "That's so funny." Um, but yeah, she was so nice. But yeah, I was like, I didn't realize that I made her day so much, but I got to make her day by being shorter than she was. So, um, I'm like, yeah, I aim to please. So I
That is definitely a new way of getting a big reaction to it.
uh-huh. Yes. I really have to say that her reaction is probably one of the biggest I've gotten out in the wild.
Well, I mean, I know being so used to always being the shortest person in any scenario except the kids, it does kind of feel like, wait, there are, oh, like it
There is
almost,
somebody
yeah,
that's shorter than me.
wait, I'm not the shortest person in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's, I mean, I totally understand that feeling of like, I'm just always assuming I'm the shortest.
Yeah. I
Always.
mean, I am, you know, uh unless they're a kid, I'm like, I know I'm automatically gonna be the shortest, and yeah, at some point the kids are taller than me too. So
I do think so. There's literally the one time I ever had that experience where I was taller than somebody in one of my classes at like school. We always, in dance, there would be times where we had to line up shortest to tallest, or, tallest to shortest in height order. And I'm like, all right, to the back. Where's the shorts?
yeah.
I'm the last one. I know. But this time, the one time this ever happened to me, I was not. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's
Like, what
not
is
me.
it?
It was literally one other girl. I went home and told my mom. So I was like, "Mom, we had to stand shortest to tallest." I was not the very shortest. There was one other person.
See, I would be excited too.
It
Um,
it's something that, and I think she was, because in that, I think it would have been, I think she would have been about your height
oh, uh-huh.
when we were in high school. I think I was like a sophomore or junior.
Oh, okay.
So I was like 16,
Oh, okay.
16,
Yeah.
17, and I mean, she was my age if not a year older, and she was shorter than me.
Ah,
I want to say, because I think I asked her how tall she was. Because I'm like, wait, how close is this? Um, I want to say she was like 4'7",
okay.
as a
Yeah.
as at least a sophomore, if not a junior or a senior.
Oh, okay.
So this was not elementary school. This was upper high school.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was I'm like, "Oh, it just makes you feel not alone." And like, "Oh, you understand."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? You get the struggle of this.
Oh yeah. I get excited when I meet somebody that's close to my height. Like I was excited to meet somebody else that was also, not much taller than me, but
Yeah.
um I'm like, yeah, short people unite.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, so but I don't think I've gotten a reaction quite like her. But yeah, it was probably the first time she did really get to meet somebody that was shorter than her, at least about her height, because everyone else is taller.
Yeah,
So I would be excited too. I get it.
that's funny.
But yeah, it was pretty funny.
At least, I mean, I can say I think that's more of a positive reaction than, "Oh, wow, you're really short," from somebody
Yeah,
that's, like, 5'10", 5'11".
I
Like,
know.
yeah, I know.
Sorry. Thanks
Thanks.
for telling me this.
Yeah.
I didn't
Thanks for informing
realize.
me.
Yeah,
Lived 35 years, had no idea how short I was, thanks.
I know. I like to act shocked and surprised, like,
I sound
really?
really sassy and sarcastic. I'm not like that in those actual moments.
Yeah.
It all stays in my head and I'm polite. I feel like maybe I should caveat that because I like to make those jokes. I am polite in the moment.
Yeah. It depends. But yeah, especially sometimes too, like if I've established enough rapport with somebody or know kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, I think they have a sense of humor.
Crack jokes back. Yeah.
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 I'll kind of let the south the sass and the south out. Um
Yeah.
um but yes, because I'm a southerner at heart. So I was sass is my middle name. But yes. But yeah, I do like to be like, no, I had no idea.
I
No,
know.
I really wish I could. Honestly, I think we need to get like jars that we can have on hand. This that like whenever somebody references that, please deposit 5 cents here.
There you go.
And
And there is your
I would have
short
a house
joke
and a boat
tax.
and all of this kind of stuff by now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'd make bank.
Yes. Yes.
I would be rich.
Yes.
Have like a short joke tax of
I
like,
know.
all right, I've heard that one too many times. Tax.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to tax you for that. Sorry, not original. I that must be taxed.
uh,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah.
But yeah.
I think I think if anything, it's made me appreciate how self-aware I am and just learn to roll with the punches.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So,
Gotta do that. That's one of the things that I learned early on how to roll with the punches.
yeah.
Mhm. But I like to hear different stories and jokes. So,
Yeah.
um, if if you have a story and would like to share that with us, you know, of being in the wild and having short jokes or getting those she's short
Yeah. Having one of
reaction.
those reactions. Yes, if we get enough, maybe we could start like reading one of them in the beginning of the episodes or something.
I know that would be fun.
That would be really
uh,
fun.
we could if we get enough, we could maybe make that a segment and start the show
Yeah.
off with one. Do a little
So
shout out and
send them
start the
in,
show off
whether
with one.
it's a creative short joke
Yes. Yes.
or a funny story of a reaction to being short.
Yes. Yes.
If we get enough of those, we could start reading some in the beginning of the episodes. That would be really fun.
Yes. So there is your assignment for
Yes.
those who are listening.
Yes. Send us either a comment, DM on Instagram,
Yes.
wherever. Send us
Yes.
your stories, send us your short jokes that are creative.
Yes.
And
We could read it.
yes, yes, we want to
So,
see them.
yes. I think that would be fun.
And then join us next week for a very fun interview.
Yes, you will enjoy this interview.
Yes.
So, stay tuned for that. It'll be awesome. I'm excited for it, and
Yeah.
so I think you'll really enjoy her. So it'll be fun. Yes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
The Coffee and Turner Syndrome podcast is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with the Coffee and Turner Syndrome podcast on Instagram at Coffee and Turner Syndrome podcast. You can keep up with all of Butterfly Entertainment's podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.